What's up, everybody? This is Prime Sports Media. Thank you for your patience. I'm live. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go live yesterday after the disappointment in the loss to Kansas by CU. I'm going to point out a few things here. It is not that CU could not beat Kansas, it's that they did not go into the game. I had made warnings about this in my pregame video, that the only way they could lose to Kansas is if they walked into that game, went into that stadium, and they weren't focused. They weren't paying attention to details. That's the only way they could lose, and exactly what I had said in the post or the pre-video to that game is that they walked into that game not really focused on the task at hand and the destiny and the opportunity that was in their hand that they may have lost. And excuse me, throughout the video, you may hear my daughter in the background having fun in her room. So if you do hear that sound, it's my young one. But let me stay focused here. Everything that I'm saying is a criticism that Coach Prime himself has already said about his football team. That I don't know if they got too caught up in smelling themselves and their press clippings. We all got excited about what was happening. I was certainly excited about what's happening. It doesn't change the fact that CU is still going to be going to a bowl game. They're bowl eligible. It doesn't change the fact that they're an 8-3 team, which is a far cry from what they were a year ago. They still have another game to play against Oklahoma State. If they win that game, they finish out the regular season 9-2. There are a bunch of combinations that could still get them into the Big 12 championship. Unfortunately, the destiny is out of their hands in terms of being able to get to the national championship tournament, because they really need, at this point, help from other teams to find themselves in the Big 12 championship. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, see how things play themselves out with the other teams within their conference. I'm just going to say here, I'm going to go out on a limb right now and jump out the window and say that I think that they're going to end up in that championship game, because I think that Arizona State and BYU, they may lose. Anything can happen. This week was crazy. Alabama is out of the national championship tournament. Alabama has gotten knocked out. Rutgers got knocked out. What other team? There was another good team out there that got, I think, what's the other team that's in this tournament? Another team that we were looking forward to them, losing. There are some teams that were losing. There were people on this channel in my chat room. I think it was Brother Richardson who said we want BYU to win. He was right. You guys were right. We needed BYU to win. If BYU would have won, I'm going to show you all of that data in just a moment. But I just want to go over a couple of things. When I was watching the game, you had Travis Hunter, who got the first touchdown for the team with in the second quarter with 7 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock. He got the first touchdown, which was very exciting to see that brother do what he did. That made me feel like, okay, even though they're down 10-0, he scored a touchdown. We could probably get ourselves back into the game. I thought that we were going to get the momentum. Then you had the young Finau himself, who I think is going to be a big star, especially going into next year. And you best to watch out for Draylon Miller. Draylon Miller, as you know, in the second quarter, a minute and 51 seconds left before they went into halftime, scored a touchdown, which was very much needed at that time, because I felt at that time that momentum was going fully on our side. But unfortunately, things did not turn out the way it is. Now, let's go into this man right here, Travis Hunter. I just want to give out some highlights right here. Travis Hunter in the third quarter with 11 minutes and 58 seconds scored a touchdown. And it was put out there that Travis Hunter, when he scored that touchdown, just so you guys know, that Travis Hunter he did something very special yesterday, unfortunately, in their loss. That Travis Hunter is this, and what he did yesterday was the sixth game with 100+ reception yards, the most in a single season and a school record for CU. Let's clap that up. Let's clap that up very much so. So he made a record yesterday that was incredible. That's Travis Hunter being what Travis Hunter is, and he is that man. Looks like he's gonna get the Heisman Trophy. I just wanted to give out this highlight. Another thing that Travis Hunter did yesterday is, with just under 4 minutes left in the game, according to reports, Travis Hunter amidst a team, he compiled a team-leading record of 125 receiving yards, 2 TDs, 8 receptions in the process. He became just the second player within 10 receiving TDs and multiple defensive interceptions in the same season to do this since 1990. That's Travis Hunter. So he created a record yesterday, y'all. He did something that was special. We definitely want to give him his flowers on what he did special. I'm going to say this again. When I did my pregame analysis of this Kansas team, I said very clearly in the beginning of the podcast that throw out their record. I know they were 4-6, something like that overall. Throw out their record. They had beaten 2 ranked teams, and now they made a record themselves by beating 3 ranked teams within the Big 12 and beating CU. I said throw out that record. They've got some talent on their team. However, there's some areas that we can exploit. Unfortunately, we didn't exploit it. I also said in my pre-video, if you all remembered, that Kansas likes to run a rushing attack. I was not afraid of their receiving attack because they are a team that likes to play around with their formations, but run out of those weird formations. And then I said to you that their quarterback has not thrown over 200 yards this year because he really is a guy that does a lot of read option, scrambling, and that's exactly what he did. That was exactly my concern for CU. I said they've been having problems with running quarterbacks all year, and let's be honest, they have had problems with teams running the ball up the middle on them still, and it showed itself in this game, unfortunately. Let's put up the stats right here and let you see what I'm talking about. See, Deion Sanders went 23 of 29 with 266 yards, 9.2 average. He had 3 touchdowns, right? Now, Daniels, number 6, their quarterback. Daniels, to let you know what he did. Just a reminder of what I was talking about. I knew what I was talking about. I just wanted to reinforce this. This man went 14 of 21 for 189 yards. He didn't get 200 yards throwing the ball. He got 1 TD yesterday, but this is what happened. He led Kansas second in rushing. He had 6 carries for 72 yards. This is their quarterback. He was more of a threat to us on the ground running the ball than he was ever throwing the ball. CU got thrown off guard because we could never stop the run. And if you can't stop the run, you're in trouble because they were able to control time of possession. I had mentioned that yesterday. What did we do in the running game? Deion Sanders led us in rushing. This shouldn't happen. He had 4 carries for 26 yards. August Avestive, brother Isaiah, only had, and this is not his fault, he only had 2 carries for 11 yards. I have said this. Many of you have noticed this. When they don't rush the ball, and let me put this up here right now. Here he is right there. Here he is right there. There is Isaiah Agustive. When CU, and I want to thank everybody that's coming in watching the program now. Peggy Roster, Angel's Eye came in first. Thank you for being here. Eric Davis, Coach Dre. Thank you for being here, Coach Dre. Benzo says, I believe what Prime said. They were intoxicated off their own success. They fed into the hype. CU had another slow start. Right. But let's be honest, we also got caught up and intoxicated by the wins too, everybody. But we got intoxicated in the right way because they were winning. And that's what we wanted to see. But it's not just that they were intoxicated by the press clippings. They just didn't do the job that was necessary. And we got to be honest, they have had some problems with stopping the run consistently. They've had a few games prior to this where they still pulled the game out, but the teams were able to run a little bit here and there. This team put up a 200 yards rushing. Neal put up 200 yards rushing on them, and that was the Achilles heel all along on this defense. And I told you, and I've said this, whenever CU does not run the ball in balance with their passing game, when they're in tough games like this, they lose. Whenever a team runs the ball on them and gets time of possession, they're going to lose. I have said this and said this time again. This young man only got 2 carries for 11 yards. Not his fault, but you got to feed. If you're in a tough game like this, one of the ways you control the game is you slow it down by running the ball, keep them off the field. What they did is they kept us off the field. They did the very strategy against us that we should have did against them. 2 carries for Isaiah is not going to get it with only 11 yards, 6 yards being his longest run. I got to be honest, Hayden. What did Hayden do for us? Hayden only had 4 carries for 5 yards, 3 yards being his longest carry, and that's it. Michael Welsh did nothing. He only got 2 carries for 1 yard. So we got away from the run. Yes, you can say that the players got caught up in the hype and the clippings, but wait a minute. The coaching staff, Coach Prime did say this, that the coaching staff has to hold some responsibility for this loss as well. The coaching staff, in this case, Pat Shurmur, I'm calling it square like it is. I'm not playing around. Pat Shurmur got away from doing the very thing that he did in the NFL in this game. He got away from running the ball. They didn't have to stop running the ball. They weren't in such a big deficit. Yes, they were down 10-0. So then they had to score real quick with the pass. I get it. But even when they were down 10-0, they got away from the passing game. The passing game became vanilla. They didn't try different things. They went to the bubble. They went to the screen plays, getting the ball to guys in space. I get that. Kansas was already king on that. They knew that the passing game and those type of strategies was the strength of the team. Why didn't Pat Shurmur make adjustments? Why didn't they run the ball more to the outside, inside? Why didn't they force the running game with more than giving these guys 4 carries for Isaiah, which to me is unacceptable? Come on, Pat Shurmur, you got to do better than that. I'm calling it straight. Coach Prime, come on. We've got to get the running game going. Had there been a dedication, all due respect to the coaches and everyone there, but I feel that if there had been more of a dedication to getting the running game going, you're in a hostile environment. How do you quiet that hostile environment down? You quiet it down by controlling time of possession, controlling the clock, running the ball with your top running back, Isaiah, giving him more carries. Believing in him, giving him only 4 carries is not going to get it. They lost this game because they got out of the balance of running, which would have opened up their passing game a lot more. I'm going to get into the officiating. The officiating was the most horrible officiating that I've seen. There's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say it like it is. There is a problem in the Big 12. They have some of the worst officiating in the Big 12. I thought the Pac-12 was bad last year. The officiating, I can say it, I'm not going to get a fine. I don't work for the Big 12. I don't work for the networks. The Big 12 is abysmal in their officiating. We saw all sorts of there were bad calls a week ago against Texas Tech. There were more bad calls. Hell, the referees didn't even call penalties on Texas Tech when their fans were throwing tortillas up in the air and throwing bottles at our players. The officiating in this game yesterday was abysmal. There were plays that happened that could have actually helped CU. In the thick and thin of all things, I'm going to show you 2 clips today that Coach Prime and his coaching staff need to send these videos to the NCAA or whoever controls the Pac-12, the Big 12. Because how can you have officials officiating a game and they can't even make calls that are obvious? I'm just telling it like it is. We hurt ourselves in so many different ways as well. When I put up this stat right here, the receiving, Travis Hunter, being Travis Hunter, did what he had to do. Travis Hunter had 8 receptions for 125 yards, 15.6 average on 2 touchdowns, 51 yards being the longest that he did yesterday. It was fantastic. And what he did. LaJohntay Wester had 4 catches for 45 yards. Draylon Miller had 5 catches for 44 yards, right? That was the big play when Draylon Miller made the big catch, showed us what he could do, and he got a touchdown out of that, right? That was the bright side of the game to the downside of things that happened, right? Now, what did we do? We were able to hold off their receiving core. What did we do? The only guy who got big yards on us receiving was their running back. He had 4 receptions for 80 yards, 1 TD, 51 yards was his longest catch that he got. That was Devin Neely. That was their running back who did most of the damage against us. Let's be honest. The kid is good. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, he ain't. No, he's good. The kid was good yesterday for Kansas. He ran all over us. He did what he had to do. But he led this team both in rushing and receiving. Their main receiver, Grimm, only had 4 catches for 35 yards. Kendo had 2 catches for 38 yards. Their receiving core did nothing to us. It was his man, singly the running game, that we were not able to. We couldn't stop it. Our young man right here, Michael Welsh, who had been hurt and out for a few games with a hamstring, he wasn't in game condition. They only gave him maybe one carry. And that's not going to get it. Michael Welsh had 2 carries, for 1 yard, 3 yards being the longest, as I said before. Not going to get it. Devin Neely rushed on us embarrassingly against us he got 37 carries. So what did I tell you? I told you in the pregame, Kansas game plan was to rush the ball, not to pass the ball on us. They knew that they couldn't beat us with their passing game. Their job was to run and attack. They do a rushing attack in which it's a combination of the running back along with their quarterback. This man, Neely, who you see on the screen, got 207 yards on us, longest run for 47 yards. Daniels, their quarterback, what did he do again? 6 carries for 72 yards. That's what hurt us yesterday. The receiving game didn't hurt us. It was the rushing game. We just couldn't stop their rush, and we couldn't get enough pressure on their quarterback because he was too elusive at doing what? Running the ball himself, and they just kept giving the ball to their running back, and he was going up the middle. He was breaking tackles. And another thing that caught up with us in this game yesterday, unfortunately, everybody, and I'm not happy about it, is that we couldn't tackle. We kept missing tackles after tackle after tackle. It was frustrating the hell out of me. I kept saying, what's going on? This guy, Neely, is running right through people. He's running through the tackles. People falling on the ground. This man was looking like Earl Campbell. He was looking like Earl Campbell. He was looking Like my man that played for the Rams back in the day, Eric Dickerson. He looked like Eric Dickerson yesterday. And it was only because of poor tackling, poor angles that were taken. That's all. You can say, oh, it was them getting caught up in their hype. No, it was about play on the field. Yeah, you can get caught up in the hype of your clippings. Coach Prime had a point there. He knows the players better than I do, better than you do. Maybe Coach Prime knows something that we don't know, that these kids are getting too caught up in the hype that they're reading. I get that. But at the end of the day, you still got to play football on the field. And when you're taking bad angles, you're not tackling properly. Deion Sanders did not look good yesterday. I'm going to keep it real with you. Deion did not look good yesterday. He had some problems. Of course, he did some things where he got penalties put on him that did not help us. I'm not afraid to say this. I really think that Carter Stoudemire, when he gets his chance to completely shine going into next season, that we're going to see some things at that safety position. We know that Craig is playing good football, but remember, Deion got hurt. He was out with an injury. This young man you see right here, Carter Stoudemire, was put in a game and was playing great football. And then Coach Prime kept Deion out there playing throughout this game yesterday. And I got to be honest, this is about being honest. Deion just did not, to me, look good enough yesterday in that secondary. I don't know how many of you agree with me. If you agree with any of my points that I'm making, definitely put sevens in the chat room. We got King in the house saying how Colorado thought they was going to win without a damn running game. You can't win without a damn running game. You cannot win. I've already broken the stats to you. You cannot win when their running back is getting 37 yards for 207 carries. He rushes for 207 yards, out rushing us. Let me let you see. If you think I'm just blowing whistle, I'm just blowing a nonsense, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's put this other stat up here right now. Right next to me to the left. I want everybody, if you're looking at this program on your desktop, your cellular phone, whatever you're using, come up close and do me the biggest favor. Share this video in your X, your Facebook, your Twitter, any type of sports page that you follow or fan page. Share it, because I'm giving the points here. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not going to make excuses, but I am going to give you the formula of how they can still get into the Big 12 championship. But look at right here. Colorado had a total of 309 yards. Check this out. Kansas Jayhawks football program yesterday had 522 yards against our 309 yards. That's not good. Either team turned the ball over. But first downs, the Kansas Jayhawks had 29 first downs. You can't win a football game if you give up 29 first downs against a football team. You just can't. 15 first downs for us, 29 for them. That's off balance. Why? Because they kept running the damn ball effectively. Now, time of possession tells us everything we need to know, ladies and gentlemen. Kansas had 40 minutes and 11 seconds of time of possession, where we had a measly 19 minutes and 49 seconds. You can't win football games. Didn't I, by putting sevens in the chat room, I'm not trying to be arrogant here, but when I did my post-game, my pre-video that I did on Friday night, I told you all that they run a rushing attack and that their goal was to control the clock, control possession, control the clock. Now you keep Shedeur and the rest of them off the field. You throw them off balance. The defense did not step up and play the way they played a week ago. This is why we really lost this game. The defense did not give us the balance that we needed against this team. Another criticism, this is a constructive criticism that I must lay down here, and I got to be honest, Shedeur is fantastic. Shador can do it all. He's an All-American. He'll be a first-round pick. But there were times during the game, and y'all know what I'm about to say because this has been said before. There were times here and there where Shador held on to the ball too long. I've got to be an honest broker about this. I can't be a hypocrite about this. There were times when Shador held onto the ball way too long. Hasn't Coach Prime talked about this as well? Check this out.
Times. What do you think when he escapes? And also, when did you realize?
Get rid of the ball. I'm thinking get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. Let's get us back to the line of scrimmage. Get rid of the ball. But he escapes in his head.
Boom. That's the evidence right there. Coach Prime says he understands that Shador escapes to make a play, not just to run. I get it. But you hear Coach Prime. I'm playing that so nobody can say, oh, this is just some stuff that you're making up. No. Even Coach Prime says that when he sees them running around, he's saying to himself, get rid of the ball so that we can get back to the line of scrimmage. Should I play it again for the effect of it all?
Times. What do you think when he escapes? And also, when did you realize?
Get rid of the ball. I'm thinking get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. Let's get us back to the line of scrimmage. Get rid of the ball. But
as you can see right there, that was what Coach Prime said in the previous game after they beat Utah. That was in the press conference after they beat Utah a week ago. That his thought is that he wants Shador to get rid of the ball, and get back to the line of scrimmage. In this game, I know that Shador was trying to make something happen. Bless that brother. I got respect for that brother. I appreciate Shador, his skill set and what he's able to do and what he was trying to do against Kansas. And there were times when he was able to make plays here and there. But at the end of the day, sometimes you got to get rid of the ball, because when you don't get rid of the ball and you get tackled, now you put your team in a longer deficit and more. Now they got to play deeper behind the chains of the first down. This is something that Shador will have to learn going forward as he goes to the NFL as well, because in the NFL, you cannot hold the ball too long when you're playing against grown men. And I think that was not the main reason why they lost, but it was a contributing factor, along with the fact that they could not run the ball. And there was some really bad officiating that was going on in this game. What do you all think about that? What do you all think about my analysis, if you agree? Anthony is in the house saying play the whole clip. Well, I played that clip. He talked about he knows how I'm not playing the whole clip because the key is that Coach Prime realizes that sometimes he has to get rid of the ball. And what Coach Prime said is he understands that Shador is trying to escape from situations. Now, let me go ahead and do this. At your request, let's just do this one more time.
He escapes and his head completely goes up and he sees the field. Because he's not escaping to run. He's escaping to get rid of the ball so he could have time to make progress down the fields.
And I remember watching him even in high school. When did you realize he had the ability to take chances and take care of it?
I had already said that he's not scrambling just to run, but he's scrambling to keep the plays going, and he has done that, and he has had some success. I'm simply saying that in this game in particular, at times it actually caused problems. It actually, along with everything that was going wrong, it made things difficult when he wasn't able to connect with a receiver and he got either tackled down to the ground, and now they were playing in a deeper deficit. And the reason why I'm saying this is because they got away from the running game. The running game would give you more balance. It would open up the passing game a little bit more, because it would have forced Kansas to be aware that, hey, they may run. Let's not just act like we can sit back and play in the flats here. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, B-Dub77. Benzel says K-State quarterback is a turnover prone. Yeah, he's turnover prone, but what did he do? That's what I keep bringing to you. He threw a touchdown, but he didn't throw any interceptions. He was scrambling all over the place on us. That was hurting us yesterday. Another thing that hurt us, and I don't want to be a person that complains about officiating and all that kind of stuff, but here's an example of poor officiating against Travis Hunter. What the hell is going on here? Why didn't he get a pass interference? This man right here, let's show him. Why didn't he get a pass interference? This man right here, Kobe Bryant, who should have been called for a penalty, who was doing all that talking about he had the game penciled. He's so excited to go against Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter, he destroyed them yesterday. He put up 125 yards receiving, touchdowns. They couldn't stop Travis Hunter yesterday. But this would have been Travis Hunter was supposed to have another touchdown yesterday. He was supposed to have, my God, y'all. Travis Hunter had 2 touchdowns, 51 yards. He should have had more than that. He should have had maybe 3 touchdowns. And I'm going to show you why. If you guys remember this in the game, how this man, Kobe Bryant, you see on the screen, did a pass interference on him. Check this out right here.
Not many teams do this. Oof. Yeah, that's
right there. He's holding him. Holding him right there. Where is the flag, y'all?
It's the route. I mean, you've got to call that, right? Travis Hunter knows.
Travis Hunter knows what he did because he plays DB. Why didn't they call that? He held Travis Hunter. If he had not, he had to hold Travis Hunter because Travis Hunter had him beat. If the ball and Travis would have connected, that would have been a touchdown right there. That could have made the difference in them possibly winning the game yesterday had the referees called the pass interference and had Kobe Bryant of Kansas, had that dude not held Travis Hunter, that would have been a touchdown. How many of y'all agree with that? That would have been a touchdown. What's going on, Richards? Richards, you was right about BYU. We needed them to keep winning. You were right. I give you a clap. Peggy Roster's in the house. Trotter is here. We always know most calculated in our game plan. We gonna be going against the refs. Unfortunately, you're right. But what I'm telling you is that there's a problem in the Big 12 with their officiating. It's terrible. Another thing that dhappened yesterday that dearly, dearly bothered me. Do you realize that Deion Sanders could have easily been knocked out of the game? He could have easily had a career-ending injury or a season-ending injury because the damn officials did not call, once again, something else that was very obvious. And I want y'all to see this again. This is terrible what took place here.
It's Dean Miller. Oh.
Right there. Right there. Let's see it again.
It's Dean Miller. Oh.
Right there. He went for his, in the NFL, you can't do this in the NFL, what he just did. You can't go for people's legs and knees. I thought they had that same rule in college. Why don't they have this rule in college? Let me remove this. Look at this. Right at his knee.
It's Dean Miller. Oh. And
right
he is
there.
Going
terrible,
great.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. You can't tell me that's... I'm so pissed off, everybody. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back in just a minute. I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'll be right back with you in just 1 minute. Give me just 1 minute. I'm back, everybody. Thank you for that interruption. Nature called there. I had to run to the bathroom. I had to go real bad. I'm keeping it real over here today. Did you all witness that? Why didn't the referees call a targeting penalty? That guy, Miller, should have been thrown out of the game. That could have been a career-ending injury. That could have been a injury for the end of the season. The way that man chopped at Shador's legs. Another dirty play. A play that he should have been kicked out of the game. They should have gotten 15 yards on. I don't think they got a 15-yard penalty on him on that play. All of that could have made the difference in them possibly making this game a game that they could have inched themselves into winning by 1 or 2. What do you think about that? Yes, Colorado lose. King Von says we can't blame the refs. We let the running back have his way. Right, I'm not blaming the refs, but I pointed out I played 2 plays that were obvious plays that anybody who has eyeballs or glasses knows that the referees blew it. I'm not blaming it solely on the referees. I don't know how long you've been watching, but I've solely have talked about how the players failed to stop the run. They let Devin Neal, get 207 yards. I've talked about that. I've gone over that, sir. Thank you for coming in and supporting the channel. Make sure you share the video. But I have surely talked about what you're talking about right now. This is the key. This is the man. We let one man running the ball create a situation in which we lost an opportunity that would have surely led us to definitely with BYU losing yesterday. If we would have won, it definitely would have led us to a Big 12 championship guaranteed. Yeah, it does hurt, but we're going to bounce back, right? It's one game. We're going to bounce back. It's not going to stop the team from being able to achieve great things. They are still going to be in a bowl game this year, and there's still a way for them to be in the playoff system. I mean, not the playoff, but the Big 12. If they get in the Big 12 game and win that, they're going to be in that playoffs. They can get into it. And there are ways. We need a lot of help, of course. But I think these other teams, they could lose games. Nobody thought that the teams like Alabama and other teams were going to lose last week to change everything in that playoff system. Peggy Roth said refs did make some calls that was overlooked. Right, overlooked. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. Yeah, that's one dirty play. Ended any shot at him getting drafted. Right. That's why I'm bringing it up. That could have been a career. He could have hit Shador in his legs in such a way that could have been an NFL ending injury. It could have been. We got Roger Dodger saying, always be humble until the goal is achieved. Rogers, you're 100% right about that. Let me clap you up. Richard says Arizona State and Iowa State in front now. We need BYU. Just give me a minute to break down how they can get in. I hear what you're saying. Texas to step. That's going for Shalow's knees was a jealous play. Yeah, you could tell that I've said this. Other teams and players are jealous of the attention that Colorado is getting and the players. And I think when they go out there to make a statement, but they go out there to hurt these guys. That's just my opinion about it. That's how I see it. It was a really dirty play. There's no question about it to me that it was a dirty play. That's why I wanted to play that. Let's go into the reaction studio, and I want to play something from Coach. This is Coach Prime talking now. This is Coach Prime. We're going to critique what he had to say here. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Here's Coach Prime. Very tough words to swallow from Coach Prime, but we gotta hear it again. We gotta hear it again because it's truth being spoken. Because he knows these players better than we do, and here we go. It's very harsh to hear it, but we gotta hear it.
It's not one of you can say you played your best game. Nobody in here can say you gave the maximum effort. You gave it all you could. It's nobody. And you see the result. See, the problem is you got intoxicated with success.
Boom. Do you all believe that the players got intoxicated with success as Coach Prime says it? Put sevens in the chat room or not, as Coach Prime says this, if you believe this premise. I'm playing it now.
And success is intoxicating. You start believing what they're saying. You start listening more to what they're saying. You bought into all that foolishness that you were this. And you went out there and we got home.
Tell the truth.
Coaches, players, everyone, we went out there and got humbled.
Boom. I like the fact that he also had to let the coaches know, not just the players know, but he had to let the coaches know that they got humbled. Pat Shurmur is in charge of the offensive play calling, and he has been doing a good job throughout the year. Let's not deny that. But in this game, he got away from the most important ingredient, which he already knows, which is the running game. Robert Livingston has done a great job as a defensive coordinator, but in this particular game, he took an L. Okay. Coach Lewis, the defensive line coach, has done a great job, but in this game, he took an L. And whatever motivation or lack of motivation that Snap was not able to be effective in his motivational skills, all coaches and Coach Prime said have to take an L and take the humble pie with this one. But that doesn't mean they can't bounce back, y'all. Does not mean that they can't bounce back. Here we go.
Players, everyone, we went out there and got humbled. But it is what it is. Where you go from here? Where you go from here? Like, where do you go from here? That's the critical thing.
Now, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to continue the video. Coach Prime said, where do they go from here? Well, I'm asking you as my audience, people that support the channel, whether you're here watching live or in the chat room or after this video is over, put in the chat room now, where do they go from here? I will read a few things that you're saying. So I want to hear you say, I want you to write down, where should they go from here? Because that's the question that Coach Prime put at the top of this speech. I'm waiting. What's going on, King? I'm waiting for it to come on in. All right. Ben said that they should beat IU. The Arizona State and BYU have to lose. Yeah, we understand that. But where should they go from here in terms of their mindset? Next year, Buffs should be more dangerous team on defense to watch. Okay. Peggy Rosser says they must win and keep pushing. Right. They got to beat Oklahoma State next week. They got to play what's in front of them. Samuel comes in and says, close out the season with a dominating home field win against Oklahoma. Thank you. B-Dub97 says, I had high hopes for CU to make it to the Big 12 champ. They still could possibly make it. We're going to talk about that in a moment. I know some folks in the chat room have already put out those theories. Juke 52, 523 Jordan. Neil and had almost 300 yards, total yards, and for a TD. Yeah, he almost, and we can't let anybody do that to us again. Okay. Tony G says offensive scheme has not matched their talent. Right. Got to improve the offensive scheme. Right. Arizona State has locked down. Right. We got Stevie Mosley who says this, talking a bunch of pregame shit and backing it up by giving up over 500 yards and 0 punts. Right. I think a lot of the pregame chatter that was going on, I would have rather not hear any of it. Back it up. You got to back up everything on the field. No matter what people are saying, back it up on the field. And we have proven that we can back things up on the field. Just in this particular game, it didn't work out. Aretha says, finish the season and now their hands are in someone else's destiny, which I do not like. I do not like the fact that they're in someone else's destiny. I agree with what you were saying there. Let's hear the rest of what Coach Prime is saying here.
What do you do with this moment? What do you glean from this moment? What do you learn from this moment? Where do we go from here? Because this moment just ain't about football. This is about life. And this is a tremendous life lesson. Let's learn from it. Let's learn from it and grow from it. The question is, guys, I'm going to ask you one last time. Where do you go from here? God bless.
Coach Prime asked a very powerful question. Where does the team go from here? Very powerful question, very on point question. Now let's hear another statement by Coach Prime. He really said how he felt. And let's hear another one from him. Here we go.
Do such because you know what you have in the locker room. I know my kids, man. I know all of them.
And I asked you a week or so ago
how
hard it is to handle success, especially.
Well, I mean, you talking about the kids? You talking about
kids?
Yeah, that's tough. All of them are different, man. Some are different. Like Travis handles it pretty darn well. LeJohntay, Will, some of the other guys do. Some guys don't. Some of the guys have really never gotten it, but now they're getting it. That's intoxicating to them. Attention is intoxicating to some people. We got.
Is Coach Prime correct when he says that attention is intoxicating for some of these young men? He said LeJohntay Wester is used to the attention, and he says that Travis handles it pretty well. Okay, but is he, once again on that same theme, is he making a point, ladies and gentlemen? Let's continue here.
I gotta fix that. That's on me. I gotta fix that.
Now, another thing that Coach Prime does that I think shows that what kind of man he is that he took blame. He said, hey, there's some things that's on me and I got to fix it. And I can respect that from Coach Prime, having that type of attitude, that type of thinking, that type of belief system, that some things are just on you as the coach to fix internally within the team. I like the fact that Coach Prime was able to be humble in that way and tell it like it is. Let me play one more video from Coach Prime, everybody. Some of you probably have seen it or not, but here he is further breaking down some of the issues that he observed in that football game and with his players. Here we go.
That's on you. And that's what we are. We control our own destiny. We fumbled it. Right, bro. It's a phenomenal thing. I don't just think about football. I think about life. So the message to these young men is if God were to grant you every darn thing you needed in life,
right,
all the ability, the thought process, the connections, the visuals, and you don't do nothing with it, that's on you. And that's what we are. We control our own destiny. We fumbled it.
Unfortunately, it was a lost opportunity in which they fumbled an opportunity. But let's see how the fumbling of the opportunity, what could happen that could turn things around for them. I'm going to go over that formula with you. I know folks like Brother Richards in the chat room has been talking about this formula. Here is the iconic picture with Andy Reid and Coach Prime at Arrowhead Stadium right there. That's the iconic picture right there, everybody. Very nice picture. Coach Prime is grinding. Here he is with Coach Phil, the offensive line coach, trying to encourage his offensive line to get out there and be gritty and play hard. And that's what he has to do. Right here, this is a quote from Coach Prime. He said, "We controlled our own destiny, but we fumbled it." This is according to Coach Prime, and you heard him say that a few minutes ago. visually. But let's continue on here. We're going to go into the reaction studio one more time because I want you all to see something right here. So let's go right over here. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat room. I'm going to read your statements. Let me see what we got right here from King Von. King says, I would believe Coach Prime saying the players weren't giving effort and intoxicated with attention if Kansas didn't beat 2 ranked teams. Right. I just think that Kansas is better than their record. I had said this in my pregame show that you can't look at their record. Right now, you got to look at the scouting report on them. And I did. And they played above that scouting report. They played better than some of the ills that were in their scouting report. And they beat 2 ranked teams prior to CU, which should have been a wake-up call for CU to say, wait a minute, they beat 2 ranked teams. Now they've beat 3, and it shows you that the talent on their team is better than what their record is. And you got to be ready for that kind of stuff. Never said, yep. B-Dub says, Coach Prime feeling sentimental about watching his son in their final games at CU. Right. And we got to be honest about the fact that Shallow didn't play a good game yesterday. Let's just be honest. I got to be honest. He didn't play a good game. Can he play better than that? Hell yeah. And you know that he knows that he didn't play the kind of game that he knows he's capable of playing. Prime feeling sentimental. This father moment is hindering his coaching. Well, we got to have to see what's going to happen. Tony G says this: Buffs do not use their tight ends. Their executive, their offense is out of only 3 formations. This route patterns are simple. This offense scheme, I guess you're saying, is simple. No, that's bull junk. King Von, what do you mean by what's bull junk? Let us know. We got the Truth Reality LLC. What's going on, my sister? Thank you. Peggy Roster's in the house. Clap to you. Let's see. Aretha, let me see. Burton says, right, every hit don't have to be a big hit, just tackle. Right. That's another area. Their tackling was poor yesterday. You got to pay attention to detail. You got to make the tackle. It don't have to be fancy. Just get these guys down. That guy, Devin Neal, who ran for 207 yards, I saw too many times where the guys just didn't take good angles on him. Or even when they got to him, he some kind of way slivered through. Even the quarterback, Daniels, at times, it really bothered me to see how Daniels at times was able to slip out of some of the tackles as well. So it really was a very stressful and irritating game to watch when you saw these sort of things that were going on. It really was frustrating, but I still believe in the process. I think you should still believe in the process as well, okay? Coach Prime, hey, he's the coach of the team. He's going to tell it like it is. Whether we like it or not, he knows these players, and I think he made an honest assessment of what he witnessed. Yes, Kansas Jayhawks football team. Yes, they beat 2 other ranked teams, so they got some ballers on that team. But I think we also did not take care of the fundamentals, such as tackling, stopping the run, and we failed to run the ball enough ourselves. So this is the situation, an unfortunate situation. Had we did this, check this out. Here's the combination right now. Check this out. Now, let me put this up here like show. This is what could have happened if we would have did this yesterday. The Big 12 championship game scenario. If Colorado loses to Kansas, right? So they did lose to Kansas. we really needed BYU to win yesterday. Just like you said, Richards, if you're still in the chat room, you were absolutely right about that in other videos that I've done when I've gone live. Now, if Colorado were to fall to Kansas, which they did, and BYU were to win on the road at Arizona State, it would be actually would not be all that bad for CU. It would still leave Deion Sanders' team in a possession of second place in the Big 12 standings with a tiebreaker over Iowa State based on their record against common opponents. However, that's what could have been the reality if BYU would have won their game against Arizona State yesterday. This is what happens, and Coach Prime said it, when you don't win and the game is in your destiny and now you put it in other people's destiny, this is what it's going to look like now for us. Here's the formula to us being able to get to the Big 12 championship if it falls this way. The Big 12 championship game scenario, if both BYU and Colorado lose. They both lost yesterday. Here we go. Things can get real hairy for both BYU and Colorado if they both lose in week 13, which they did. Entering the final week of the regular season, which is week 14, it would actually be Arizona State and Iowa State atop the Big 12 standings. And if the projected favorites were to win in week 14, including BYU and Colorado and Iowa State, that would leave the standings that way for with Arizona State versus Iowa State for the title of college football playoff berth. So I'm going to say this again. The projected favorites were to win in week 14, including BYU, Colorado, and Iowa State. That would leave the standings. That way for with Arizona State versus Iowa State for the title. So even if Colorado and BYU win their games next week, and both Arizona State and Iowa State win their games, we won't be in a championship game. We need Arizona State and Iowa State to lose, or one of those got to lose. Here's the further scenario. Here we go. Here's the formula. Meanwhile, if Iowa State were to lose next week to Kansas State, as I was saying, we need one of these teams maybe to lose. If Kansas State were to lose to Kansas State in a rematch, you hear what I'm saying? I'm going to read this again. If Arizona State was to lose in a rematch for Colorado Buffaloes, for Colorado to get to be in the Big 12 championship, Colorado needs Iowa State and BYU to lose. Listen what I'm saying. For us to play in the Big 12 championship still, despite this loss to Kansas, we need BYU to lose their game next week. We need Iowa State to lose their game. Iowa State and BYU to lose to be the one facing the Sun Devils. So if we want to play in the Big 12 championship against the Arizona Sun Devils, BYU and Iowa State have to both lose next Saturday. But we got to also take care of business and beat Oklahoma State next Saturday too. If Arizona State were to lose in week 14, it would leave Colorado needing Iowa State or BYU to lose to make the title game. So even if Arizona loses next week, Arizona State, we still need BYU and Iowa State to lose their games in that scenario. This is crazy, but it's the truth.
Tell the truth.
That's the scenario, everybody. That's what it is. If they want to get into the Big 12 champ, that's the only way they get into the Big 12 championship. And if they get into the Big 12 championship, they have to win it to get into the college football playoff system. If BYU and Iowa State don't lose next week, both teams, we don't make it. Even if Arizona loses next week. If BYU and Iowa State lose their games, then there's a good chance that we could be in the Big 12 championship against Arizona State. That's the scenario. I just want to, leave y'all with that. I'm not happy about this whole situation, y'all. I'm not happy about this whole situation at all. And now we have put our destiny in the hands of other teams, and that's not good. So that means next week we're all going to be watching CU play Oklahoma State, and we're going to be watching these other teams, and we're going to be wishing with a candle, with a prayer, that BYU and Iowa State lose. And Iowa State's a good team. Now we got to look at you got to look at who they play against and the whole 9 yard. This is something that I didn't want to see happen, everybody. And I'm sure you didn't want to see happen. But this is where we are in this situation. Richard says Arizona State plays Arizona. They're not losing, so it's up to BYU and Iowa State to lose for Colorado to get in. Exactly. But keep this in mind. It doesn't matter if Arizona State loses a game. Arizona State losing their game doesn't automatically get us in the Big 12 championship. We basically just need BYU, as you said, and Iowa State to lose. Period. Iowa State plays Kansas State. Yeah, we need Kansas. We need Kansas to lose. We need Kansas State to lose, because remember, Kansas State is one of the teams that beat us. Let's put this back up here again. Things could get real hairy for both BYU and Colorado if they both lose in week 13. Well, they did. Entering the final week of the regular season, if it would actually be Arizona State and Iowa State atop the Big 12 standings. And if projected favorites were to win in week 14, including BYU, Colorado, and Iowa State, that would leave the standings that way for what? Arizona State and Iowa State to have a matchup in a title game. So we want those teams, we want Iowa State to lose, BYU to lose. That works in our favor at the end of the day. Appreciate your statements in the chat room. Dante says, I can see Iowa State losing, but the other two teams, yeah, I want to see it all happen. How you doing, The Truth Reality LLC? Thank you for coming through. Let's see who we got right here. Listen, Colorado put this on themselves. I'm done. I'm not wishing on a star for them to have other teams to lose. It's not about wishing on a star. Look, my brother, I never wanted this to happen, right? We all thought that they could take care of business, beat Kansas, and have everything in their hands, right? But I'm just saying, I'm just breaking down the scenario. That's the only way they get into the Big 12 title game. And I get what you're saying. We shouldn't have to sit up here and wish on a star. We shouldn't have to wish on a star. We shouldn't have to hope that these things, right? You're hearing stars there. We shouldn't have to wish on stars like that these other teams lose, right? I'm just saying if they do lose, we get in. However, even if we don't get in, we still are eligible to play in a bowl game. But I would rather see us in the Big 12 championship game, win that game, and that would put us in a better situation. You see what I'm saying? But I hear where you're coming from. Believe me, I'm not. I hear you. Dante says, but we got it. We got to it the only way. Yeah, that's the only way. I get it. Let's see what the brother's saying right here. Ishmael says, I didn't either, but do you see that we've been exposed again defensively and going to be playoff? This ain't no Big 12 team. We're going to be right. We're not going to be going against Big 12 teams. I said it on this program today that the glaring issue in our defense, even though the defense has improved every week except for this week, is that teams could still run on us. And this game really exposed a problem that was always still there that actually got the best of us when it all counted for something big. I get where you're coming from. Motai says no, we should wish other teams to lose. It's part of the ranking. If people are sentimental, should stop watching sports. Don't apologize, sir. Right. I want those teams to lose. And you're right. It is part of sports. But would I had rather them win this game so they wouldn't put this in the hands of other people? Yes. But as Coach Prime said, it is what it is. And now they're going to have to deal with the consequences of it all. And this is how you learn and get better as a football program and team. I get where you're coming from. I get it. Arizona State's not losing to Arizona. It doesn't matter, Brother Richards. It doesn't matter what happens to Arizona. Whether they lose or win, that's not what we need. We simply need BYU and Iowa State to lose, brother. I just read earlier that even if they were to lose a game, it doesn't guarantee us to get in the Big 12. I'm talking about Arizona State. We don't need to worry about Arizona State at all. We need to worry about two teams, BYU and Iowa State. We want them both to lose. If not both, we want one of them to lose. We want that kind of scenario. At this point in time, it doesn't matter what happens with Arizona State next week. I'm gonna put this back up again because I don't think people got what I was maybe I should read it again. I'm going to read it again. Meanwhile, if Iowa State were to lose next week to Kansas State, that would put BYU in the Big 12 championship game against Arizona State in a rematch. For Colorado, we would need both Iowa State, as I said before, and BYU to lose to be the ones facing the Arizona State Devils football team. Now, check this out. This is what I was saying about Arizona. We can't worry about them right now. If Arizona were to lose in week 14, it would leave Colorado needing Iowa State or BYU to lose still to make the title game. So let's not worry about Arizona State because whether they win or lose, it does not affect whether we get in. The only teams that carry our destiny in their hands is BYU and Iowa State. We need both those teams to lose and to lose big. You see what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
That's all we need. That's all I'm saying. That's all we need. That's all we got to focus on. Stop talking about, I'm just not being nasty. I'm not being disrespectful. Stop worrying about Arizona State. Don't even talk about them because at the end of the day, the only time we got to worry about Arizona State is if the other two teams lose, BYU and Iowa State, And if they lose, now we have to worry about Arizona State because they would be the team that we would match up against in the championship scenario. You get what I'm saying?
Tell the truth.
Let's tell the truth and shame the devil and be honest about this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And be completely honest about the whole thing. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Boom. All right. Let me go back in the chat room, see what y'all are saying. People can get where I'm coming from. Okay, let me see right here. Dante says, either way, we need two teams to lose. Facts, and that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. Yashua says, what you think about Shiloh not playing up to his... I talked about that too, brother. I said it, that Shiloh did not play a great game. I don't want to hate on Shiloh, but I got to be honest. I don't think he's had a great season. Unfortunately, he got injured early in the season with the broken forearm, which really set him back, right? You see that brace that he has on right there talking to his father? He actually had problems since day one when they came into, the training camp and all of that. I don't think Shiloh has had moments when he's played good football, but I don't think overall this has been the best overall year for him in comparison to what we've seen him do. Now, let's not sit up here and be haters now. Shiloh has had a few games this season where he's made some big plays. But in this game, quite obviously against Kansas, he came up very, very short. But then the team came up very, very short overall. Another thing, I said this a week ago, and I don't want nobody to underestimate what I'm talking about right here. That's Jimmy Horn. I thought Jimmy Horn was playing because we heard that he was traveling with the team. Turned out that Jimmy Horn did not play. I said this 2 weeks ago in a post-game video that we need Jimmy Horn. Jimmy Horn not being out there in our receiving core does something to affect the vibe of the receiving core. I think that we missed him even a week ago when we beat Utah, and we definitely missed Jimmy Horn Jr. in this game. There's no doubt about it. We could have used him in this game. There's no telling what type of plays, what type of things that Jimmy Horn could have done, what touchdown he could have caught. There's a lot of stuff that Jimmy Horn could have done because Jimmy Horn is really our speed receiver. And so I feel like not having him out there does impact our receiving core. No shade to all the other guys, right? We got a great receiving core. We got guys like Wester, right? Right? We got guys like the young Draylon Miller. We got guys like, who play great football like Will Shepard. We got some talent in our receiving core. We're not going to deny that. But I think not having my man, I think we're learning that we got to appreciate him more. I think Jimmy Horn, just having him on the field and the threat that he could get down the field, deep threat, other teams have to prepare for Jimmy Horn because of his deep threat ability, along with the fact that we've got the incredible Travis, all-world beater Hunter. Right? We know what we got with Travis. We know what Travis can do, right? We know what he brings to the table, his skill set. We know that it's fantastic. But I think not having Jimmy Horn there to add to more depth in their receiving core, I think it hurt us in this game in particular. Amongst the fact that we could not stop the run and we failed to run the ball effectively and stick with it ourselves. That really hurt us. And the poor tackling and technique, bad angles that they took, just the overall package. I got to be honest. That injury must be really for Jim. That injury must be really for Jim. Yeah, it's real. It's not a fake. It's real. Or he would be out there playing. Don't matter if Jimmy or anyone else was there. They controlled the line of scrimmage. I get they controlled the line of scrimmage. I'm just simply saying that you cannot underestimate having a guy out there that can stretch the field, that gives Shador another weapon that he could get the ball to when he was scrambling around at times that I felt he should have got rid of the ball. But having Jimmy Horn out there is another deep threat guy who also has the ability to get open. You cannot deny that as truth.
Tell the truth.
Because it is true. Even if they would have lost this game, still having him out there, they may have put up a little bit. They probably put up another touchdown because you never know if Jimmy Horn would have had a breakout game. You just never know. When you don't have all your players on the field, you can always say, we just don't know. The brother says here, Rob never switched up the defense. Right. And I'm surprised because, that's what they do in the NFL. The NFL coaches, they tend to make adjustments very quickly. B-Dub97 says Jimmy Horn's not playing was bad for CU's offense. Jimmy should have been playing. Right, but the question is, could he play? You see, B-Dub, he may not have been able to play even though he traveled with the team for inspiration. B-Dub97 says Shallow Sanders is overrated. Shallow should be benched when his performance is subpar. All right. I like people speaking their mind, especially when it's about football. I love it. Everybody, it looks like I'm going to have to call it to a conclusion for our podcast. I wanted this podcast. It's a Sunday. I know you all are relaxing today and you're enjoying time with your family. Pretty much everybody, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I'm going to be posting some more content. I'm going to probably be going live maybe once or twice during the week because I've got time to do so because I'm free this whole week going into this Thanksgiving holiday, which means that I can, post more content. I'm going to probably post a YouTube short on the page. Definitely prepare to go live maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Definitely got to do it before Thanksgiving. Post a video for their game against Oklahoma, right? And then I want to probably post another. I'll see what I'm going to do, but I'm going to be free to put out content however I put that content out. Make sure you subscribe or follow me on the Facebook page. It has 84,000 followers on the Facebook page to this channel. Make sure you follow me on Blue Sky. I finally put together a Blue Sky social. Blue Sky is produced by the same people who made Twitter before Elon Musk took over Twitter. So some of the people who created Twitter, they created another Twitter-like platform called Blue Sky. And on Blue Sky, and you do have a couple of other CU pages over there too. I created a Prime Sports Media page on Blue Sky. So if you sign up for Blue Sky, follow me on Blue Sky at the same name, Prime Sports Media. You'll find me on Blue Sky there. Find me on Facebook at Prime Sports Media. Find me on Instagram at Prime Sports Media. Find me on TikTok at Prime Sports Media. You can find me on and I have all the links on the description part of the description of this video. You can go down there now and you can click into them right now. The only one that I haven't put in the description yet is the Blue Sky platform yet, but I do have it up and running Blue Sky platform on there. So check that out. Appreciate you all coming over. I want to give you a clap. Another thing I want to do is I want to say once again, thank you for watching today. Like and comment when you get a chance. Subscribe to this channel. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe. Subscribe right now. Hit the bell where it says all notification. I look at my analytics, and there are a lot of people who subscribe to the channel and hit all the bells, but there's other people who hit the bell, who subscribe, but they're not hitting all. All will mean what? That you get every notification when I go live or I put up an uploaded video. I want to thank you for that too. It's been great doing this video, but it's also been difficult doing this video because it was very difficult to hear the things that Coach Prime was saying about the team. I really have to be honest with you. Very difficult to hear Coach Prime say the things that he said. I would rather had not heard it, but it's the truth. And he's the coach of the team. He knows what he's talking about. As we get ready to get out of here, one more time.
It's not one of you can say you played your best game. Nobody in here can say you gave the maximum effort. You gave it all you could. It's nobody. And you see the result. See, the problem is you got intoxicated with success. And success is intoxicating. You start believing what they're saying. You start listening more to what they're saying. You bought into all that foolishness that you were this. And you went out there and we got humbled. Coaches, players, everyone, we went out there and got humbled. But it is what it is. Where you go from here? Where you go from here? Like, where do you go from here? That's the critical thing. What do you do with this moment? What do you glean from this moment? What do you learn from this moment? Where do we go from here? Because this moment just ain't about football. This is about life. And this is a tremendous...
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Prime is right. It isn't just about football, but it's about life. I want to thank everybody for watching this program today. Make sure you share this video on all your social media. I'll be back with more presentation. I appreciate you, Patrick Williams. Let me see what you're saying right here. Patrick Williams. Let me make sure I put up what you put up here. Patrick Williams, Prime Sports Media. If you look at well-off media, the coaches were calling the plays, but the players were executing them. I hear what you're saying. So are we saying that K-State was just too good for us? Or that we just couldn't run, we couldn't stop the running game? If you look at well-off media, the coaches were calling the plays, but the players were executing them. I'll take your comment in consideration, my brother. I appreciate you coming over, supporting the channel. Guerrero losing, let me see. Losing was a blessing in disguise because it gives us a realistic view of the type of recruits and transfer players we need. Oh, okay, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that the coaches were calling the plays, but you meant to say that the players were not executing. So it was a player situation, which is why what Coach Prime just said that I played must be correct. Thank you, brother Patrick Williams. I hope I got what you said correct. Howard Rollings is coming saying, relax, it's going to be all right. So go Buffs. Let's go Buffs. Everybody take care. Peace. I'll be back with more presentations soon. Peace. I want to thank you all. Share the video and thank you. Hey, just because we lost this game, don't give up, everybody. It's still been a hell of a season so far. Take care. Peace.
Let's ride. Pride Sports Media. Pride Sports Media. Pride Sports Media. Pride Sports Media, baby.
Tell the truth.
Pride Sports Media.